This is a volcanic conglomerate. Looks like it's probably basalt. And this is found in the lower layer here, next to the beach. And then you go the next layer up, and you get the clay that has fish scales and whale bones, shark teeth, etc. Probably Miocene. Then when you get something like this, these are boring clams, but they fell down from the cliff above, and they're recent. They're probably Holocene from up there on the cliffs. On that layer above the volcanic, you can see where it changes, are these clay rocks. You can even dig your finger into some of them, depending on how hard they are. See, you can dig your finger into it. But some parts of it is hard. And that has fish scales and other marine animals, like marine mammals.
East of here, where they found a seal relative in the 1950s, and it's something completely new, named Palos Verdes Peninsula. It's basically found on someone's yard when they were digging and made to build. And nearby, about 2 kilometers east from here, in the Chadwick School, they found a sperm whale skull. And that's something new, and it's been described. It took about a year. That thing was mostly encased in rock, and took our preparators about a year to prepare. And it's looking really nice. And it's a work in progress now, getting to the stretch. No, it's in the museum. It's completely prepared. The school donated it. We're very kind. They were very happy that it was something so interesting finding their chart. So now the colleagues and I were working on describing the specimen and giving it a scientific name. And it's a primitive sperm whale. It's not as big as some other sperm whales. Other ones are about 16 meters in length. So they're the largest of the toothed whales. This one was a lot smaller. That's about somewhere around 6 meters long. It was a lot smaller. So the interesting thing that these marine mammals, these ancient Miocene marine mammals, tell us is that, you know, there's all this ancient diversity that we are still learning. Pinnipeds, there used to be all sorts of weird seals, sea lions, walruses used to dominate the shores here. There were multiple species of walruses that actually didn't all look like walruses. So finding fossils and getting them prepared and studied really gives us a lot of insight into how the fauna of California has changed. Yeah, the rock is very hard. It has to be prepared mechanically with an air scribe. It takes a lot of time. You can maybe do acid preparation, but that may be risky for the phosphorus. And we're not sure how fast it will be.
Here's a basaltic rock, and only part of it has a conglomerate. This is a different kind of conglomerate. Looks like it has volcanic rocks inside of it. It looks like it's kind of a silicious material.
Oh, let's put this in a
Shark egg case.
water.
So this here is one of the boulders from here, but it's called.
What is it now?
So this is probably part of a vertebra here, and you can see this is the inside. You can see the marrow cavity. It's very porous. That's how you tell it from the rest of the rock.
See the other side?
And then here, this is part of a rib, and you can see the porosity and the difference in color. That's what's really telling. And what really helps us.
And what is it in?
This is part of the Altamira shale. So this is the rock that's about between 14 and 9 million years old. And that was deposited.
What
here.
type of rock?
It's a sedimentary rock.
Sediment? What kind of sedimentary?
It's a shale.
It's a shale?
Very siliceous. So there's a lot of silica in it.
But it's been melted, right?
Huh?
Melted? Is
No.
it metamorphic?
This is sedimentary. This was just deposited in the seafloor.
Okay.
And buried the
But it's very hard, though.
Yeah.
It's not like normal
Yeah,
shale.
and that's one problem, one issue of the rocks of this formation in particular, that the rock is very hard. So the fossils, even if we find them, they're very hard to repair, and that slows down the process
Probably
of studying them.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this one has a lot of silicious material in it. And right here, you can see it's forming a geode.
These are all fish bones. And if you go home, you'll keep yourself. If you go home, look under magnifying glass. You might be careful not to put it.
Now these are two halves, and it shows fish scales in shale. Now this shale that has been, looks like it's been metamorphic because it's very hard. But you can see where the rock has been under pressure and cracked, and this silicious material, probably quartz, has formed in the cracks in the black rock. Now this is what the bones are in. And of course, whale bones are often found like this all up and down the coast, all the way from Mexico to Alaska. Now this rock is the same silicious material, but it's a little different. Looks like it has some mineral coloring in there. I found this rock, and you can see the mineralization here. Silicon quartz forming geodes. But you can also see some conglomerate in it. Let's see here. You can see broken pieces here in it, showing that it was crushed, and then the minerals came in, the silicon, and cemented them into a rock.
Well, that's I just wanted to get this thing. Yeah, I know. Jorge. Hi. Thank you.
What do you think she brought you?
The vertebrates.
Well, if everybody picked it up.
It's whale vertebra.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, good.
Ways of telling them apart.
This is silicon.
Yeah.
Is that the volcanic silicon?
It came from woods with mineral wood, whether volcanic, I don't know.
This
I
one.
know what you're saying.
Okay. This is bone here. Here.
I think there's there's like
Oh, I guess I want to get your stegosaurus. Thank you.
They were sleeping. They were oh, found this. I just picked it up. I have my uses. Yeah.
I found that I can hold those there. I'll give it to you. Tell me what
And what is it?
It is part of a baleen whale skull. This is neat.
Baleen whale skull.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So the orbit, the back end of the skull is this big triangle. It's sort of tilted forward. That's one of the reasons why I know it's a baleen whale. It's kind of small, which may mean that it is something like a seat of the earth. There are these smallish baleen whales that were around a lot. They were quite common in the Miocene, especially in the Miocene. This here will be the underside. This is this bone here. Well, when it was complete, it's called the vomer, and the vomer that sits in the floor of the rostrum, and the bottom of the actually the ceiling, no, the palate, the ceiling of the mouth. And what's really interesting also is that it's got the ear bones, and that is very important. It's got some of the ear bones there, and the ossicles. Neat. Yeah, ear bones, orbit. Yeah, this is a part of a skull of a baleen whale. Shit. Sorry. You're eating here, friends. Huh? Oh, fish scales. Neat.
Here you can see the different colors of the volcanic ash. There's kind of reddish, tan, and then there's, yeah, different variations of that color. Here along the trail you can see more volcanic ash. It's kind of a gray.
Now we are gonna watch a whale.
Prepared and named, and then put on display in the museum. I think it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The point was named by Vancouver when he was exploring the California coast in 1790, and it was named after a guy, a friar, I think, at the mission in Ventura County, Friar Vincente. So that's where the name comes from. And I think the lighthouse was built in the 1920s, something like that.
I'm not sure when, yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of ships are running aground in this area. You've got a fairly narrow channel between here and the islands and rocky coastlines. So. And then this was built in, I think, '84. Is that right?
Yeah, they did it 2 phases. This part, and then they built the second part.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought Joe could talk about the Interpretive Center and its mission and the fossils, and then maybe Jorge might have some words about the modern marine mammals, because that's really why this place is so important right here. Is it's a great place to observe the migration of particularly the great whales, but also other species.
Yeah, our guys come in 1 day a week. I work on the exhibits. There's a whale skeleton I put together. You'll see when you go inside there, gray whale. It's supposed to be a year old, but I think it's probably a little bit older. But actually, we'll go in a few minutes and I'll give you a tour. And one of the highlights we have in here, we have a fossil shark, which actually maybe I can tell you about it now because it'll be a little crowded. It's in our cave. It's from the Altamira Shale, which makes up most of Palos Verdes. This right here is Altamira Shale you're sitting on. They call it Palos Verdes Stone is the commercial name. But the shark was found in the Altamira Shale right here in Lanada Bay. A construction guy there was a big boulder there, and he was going to put it in his garden as a garden rock, and the tractor couldn't pick it up, so he told the guys, we'll break it in half, and I'll take the 2 halves up. And when they broke it in half, all these shark's teeth fell out on the ground, and they realized that there was all the vertebrae and everything were in there. So he took over to my house, and all these pieces, there's probably about 50 or 60 pieces, big chunks. And we put it together, and basically it was in 2 halves because it's like a fossil fish. You have both positive and negative. So we had 2 fossil sharks there, and so he took the lesser one home, and then on loan, permanent loan, we have the better one here. It's an extinct mako, Isurus histalis. Some people are playing with the generic name, but it is histalis, and it is the forerunner of the white shark. Down in San Juan Capistrano, a little higher up in the Miocene, they find these giant makos with slight serrations on the edge. You know, and as we go up into the formations, you see deeper and deeper serrations until you end up with a white shark. All the makos didn't turn into white sharks. Some did, and the makos were still living at the same time. So you do find beds where you find a white shark and Isurus living together. Okay, we're talking a little bit about marine terraces too, real quick. You can see them right here.
Yeah.
We're on this was a sea floor up here at one time. The sea cliff. Actually, we can go walk over here. Here's some really neat over here. The old sea cliff. And then on top of there was marine terrace at one time. You actually do like stair steps over there. You can kind of see the steps going down. So it appears that this could have been actually like a bay in here. The cliffs around there. And I think we're on the second marine terrace here.
Yes.
So we'll walk a little higher up those there. But those are the old marine terraces. If you cut into them, you can find Pleistocene fossil shells. And actually right over here, there's a little canyon, and I took a picture in there of the top cross section. You can actually see the seashells on top of the Altamira Shale. Okay? So let's go ahead.
The ocean was right here.
I pitched my book, but I wrote a book on Palos Verdes. You want to put for 20 bucks instead of 40. I got them in my truck, so afterwards I can say, you You see all the little white dots here? And here, here. You see those in here? Does anyone have any idea what coprolites are? It's fossil fish food, that's right. These are all coprolites. The little white ones. Okay, let's go and look at the shark.
Dinosaurs.
Look at the whale. You'll go ahead and look at the whale up above too. Hey, how are you? Is everybody here? No,
They're still wandering over. Not sure where to go.
incredible fossils we have here, of course. And this is a fossil, a extinct giant mako, Isurus histalis. Like I said, the name Isurus is being played with, but for now we're calling it Isurus histalis. And this thing is pretty complete. It was probably about 18 feet long. This is the head with the jaw and the teeth, then a vertebral column, and even up here, the lighting is really bad. You can actually see the dorsal fin of the shark. It's up here too. So it's interesting this thing was buried so quick because usually you just find shark's teeth. The cartilage is, the vertebrae are made of cartilage and usually rot away. So this was buried obviously right away. Right, and you can see this wrinkled skin right there too. See the wrinkled skin? So that's one reason we also find baleen here in Palos Verdes. It's probably gets buried real quickly. Like I say, this evolved into the modern white shark we have today, the 16th mako. And we have some whale skulls over here. Look at the brain cast right here. There's some vertebrae on that one, another part of a skull. But this is probably the best fossil mako in the world right here. And you see all the teeth here too. If you come more closer, you can look at those. You guys have any questions, Don? Yeah.
So how, like, so it shows you the skull and you press his button, and then it shows you the animal.
Alright, pretty good lifestyle.
This is skull. And then, can you guys do this, which this one is? Hey, well, it would be fun if the emergency exit was in there.
Have you been here before? Yeah. Oh, so you've seen that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like the one we were looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one has the ribs. So that one we saw the leaf was probably from, maybe not from the thorax, but farther back, the lumbar region, maybe hanging the tail, so they didn't have ribs. This ones are definitely through the thorax, to see how those are ribs. And in a way we kind of are But basically it's because that's where most specimens are described from, using cranial material. And it's because it's basically you have a bunch of different bones concentrated in one piece that usually holds together. Maybe there are characters in the arms, forearms, vertebral column that we can use, but they're usually detached and they separate, and we find them isolated. So it's harder to compare one to one. So skulls are what we want. Our mandibles will be our second best thing.
That is so interesting. Huh?
That is a deep sea fish.
Wow, that's pretty good too. Oh wow, yeah. Oh, is that it? Wait. Wow, this is huge, Jade. Look at this bad boy.
It's like a skull.
It looks like it.
These are modern whale teeth. Sperm whale.
They're real highways, but we weren't sure about the position of them. You find some of them on the internet, but not a whole lot.
This is a real skeleton of a modern whale. This is dated as Pleistocene, 80,000.
Normally the case. And then you got the limpets, and I think Joe said he had a chitin plate.
Oh, nice.
Lots of top shells. Some true limpets.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah.
Cool. So you have a guide for some of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll have to take a look at that.
We'll get that online. I think that's
Okay.
the best way, stop by stop, and put a map in there. And
Okay. And if anybody happened to be taking any pictures as you go down there or doing whatever,
take some pictures.
that'd be cool.
Cool.
I'll see if he has this in digital.
It's 100 megabytes.
not in my eye.
Places where it's much easier to find.
This is from Puente Hills.
Huh?
Where does it come from?
Well, this was over on the other side. We're kind of over by Forstall. It's on over there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Isn't that a beauty?
wow.
That's found at Point Furman.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Where's that from? Wow.
Point Furman?
So was it buried? Like, was like you just saw this piece? Or
Oh, I got a friend found it. I don't know, but shark teeth are so slippery or so smooth, they actually will pop out of the shale sometimes. So sometimes you'll just find, instead of being embedded like a fish, it'll actually pop out of the shale. I have another fossil guy found. It's just the imprint of the rock that a tooth was in. And he never found the tooth, he just found the rock with the imprint of this big Megalodon sitting in it.
Well, someone's got the imprint of that one.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
that's right.
Photo shoot.
Okay.
Can you get my water for me?
Do what, see?
Can you get my water for me?
Here, where the, can you see that yellow and green sign right there? Okay, right behind it on the hillside, can you see it's a little bit of a, it's just a smooth hillside, but see it's kind of rubble in there? That's actually an old canyon that filled in, an old Pleistocene canyon. And at the base of that canyon, I'll show you when we go up there, a few years ago I found at the very bottom of it a bison antiquus, which is extinct pelvis. And I got home to clean it up, I noticed there was butcher marks on it, where someone had killed this thing and eaten it. I knew it was an extinct, so it had to be at least 10,000 years old. So we tried carbon-14 dating, there wasn't any collagen in it, so they have a new method now,
Optical stimulus.
optical stimulation luminescence.
Luminescence.
And what they actually do, they actually can see the last time the rocks found with it were in sunlight. So what the only problem with it is if you go to collect samples to date, when you bring them out, you contaminate it because the sunlight hits them. So we had to come up here in the middle of the night, a moonless night, with flashlight with black tarps over the whole area. And we went in there, and that doesn't have blue or it's a green light, some kind of a special light. And we had to dig back in about 6 inches in the virgin soil. And then we had to dig another about a 6-inch chunk out of that. And that was all wrapped in black plastic and put in a light-proof container. So then they took it back to the lab at Long Beach State and they dated it. And they dated it 13 times, and almost all the dates came out 13,500. One was 20,000, and that one was, you'll get a little fluctuating. But so basically the age of that pelvis, and it's the oldest date of humans in California.
wow.
So the date of Channel Islands of 13,500. So as far as I know, it's the oldest date. And it was right here in Palos Verdes.
Wow.
So we'll hike them just a minute.
And just think about how many things had to go right to get
What's
that.
that?
How many things had to go right for you to get that date, right?
Oh, I mean,
the
just to
fossil.
find it.
Yeah.
First of all, it could have all been eaten up by scavengers, so somehow it got buried. And then to be walking by at the right time, because now it would have been gone because the last rain would have washed it away. And now, when we go there, I mean, back inside could be the rest of the skeleton, or it could have been all on this side and washed away. So, but it's a very dangerous stuff. I don't like digging it. Actually, when I dug that piece out, I had a long pole with a spike on it. I dug around it because I didn't want to get underneath it. It's very unstable.
And then for it to actually have the butcher marks on it.
Yeah, then to find, because they're real faint, very faint, but you can see there's about 5 or 6 cut marks along it. And actually, who has one of my books? I can show you a picture of it. Well, I got it right here. I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, I don't have the specimen. Tequis, which is extinct, and then at the very top, actually on the other side, there's real faint butcher marks there across it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like much, but it represents an extinct bison, 13,500 years old, and it was butchered by humans.
Wow.
At certain angles. And so they could tell from the electron microscope of the cuts, they could tell it was probably an obsidian or chert blade, just from the way the cleavage of the break. Beetle. Squash beetle, yeah, they're enormous.
June bug.
Yeah. Or palm beetle, I guess they call them, but they, yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty, so. Around here too, if we get up far enough, I'll show some marine terraces. And the floor of the canyon is all Miocene Altamira shale, and they found a beautiful fossil halibut, just right there on the ground. I found several fish up there too, and the whale vertebrae. They're all just right there in the canyon. And then, okay, so we have the 13,500-year-old. We have marine terraces, 80,000 or older, and then the Altamira shale. And then if you go all the way up the canyon, there's a big Indian encampment. Anywhere there's a spring that runs all year round, and the Indians would hike all the way down to the beach and get abalone and bring them back up there and eat them. So there's a big pile of abalone shell there where the Indians would eat them and just throw the shells down. And kind of a cave in there. So a lot of different ages, a lot of stuff going on up here. It's really neat. So. Okay. And all this filler stuff, then we go up a little bit.
Was it naturally filled or?
Yeah. Oh, that was all filled back when the bison was. And then this canyon cut through it. And then over here, you see bedrock over there, you see it?
This is where the bison was found.
You guys ready for a little bit of a hike yet? Yeah. There's a whale still up here, but still there.
You want to go see some whale?
Whale of a
That was a bison antiquus Pleistocene.
Yeah. That picture that he was showing us.
Look at that.
Bone, and that's one of the main ear bones in the whale. So they have this big thing called the panicula, which it kind of looks like a shell, and it's oval, and it's sort of hollow and curved, and that articulates with the periotic. And the periotic bone is where the organs for detecting rotation and the organs of hearing are located. And so you have the occipital condyles here, tympanic bone here, and this will be part of the bone where the lower jaw articulates, right here. And a skull of this width, it will be maybe about this long. If the whole thing is here, yeah. It's
right here. So you're looking at the back of the skull. No, it's actually the side and then the ear. These are the ear.
the ear spaces, the ear bones. So he says that it's probably around here for a while.
Skull. It probably goes all the way back up here.